Mary Thompson was just another woman in the crowd. Short, dark-skinned, with tired eyes and rough palms, she lived in a noisy, dusty part of the city where broken buildings and noisy bus conductors told the story of daily struggle. She had no husband, no children, and no family close by. She had once dreamed of becoming a nurse, but life had other plans. At 34, Mary was barely surviving. She sold boiled corn and coconut by the roadside and lived in a small, one-room wooden shack with a leaking zinc roof. Every month, she found herself deeper in debt. The women around her laughed at her misfortune. The men barely noticed her. She was invisible. And worse, she was hungry. One evening, as she sat under a mango tree beside her corn pot, the rain began to fall heavily. Most of her corn remained unsold. She was about to pack up when she noticed an old woman walking slowly in the rain, with no umbrella, her hair full of white dreadlocks. She was barefoot and looked soaked and tired. Out of pity, Mary called her. "Mama, come and take some corn. It's free." The old woman smiled slowly, revealing yellow teeth. "You are kind, child. That is good. But kindness does not fill an empty stomach." Mary smiled weakly. "At least I sleep with peace." The woman leaned close. "Do you want to remain like this forever? I see hunger in your eyes. You want more than this life." Mary nodded, slowly. "Yes, Mama. But I don't know how." The woman whispered, "Then you must be willing to do the unthinkable. Greatness does not come with clean hands." Mary frowned. "What do you mean?" The old woman stepped back, lifted her hand, and pointed at her. "From the blood of your womanhood, your table will overflow. Boil it, mix it, stir it into your food. They will eat and never leave. But only the strong can do it." "Are you strong, Mary?" Mary's heart beat fast. "My monthly blood." The woman only smiled, then walked away into the dark rain. Mary laughed nervously at first. She thought the woman was mad. But when night fell, and the wind blew through the holes in her roof, soaking her floor and empty food bowls, the idea refused to leave her mind. For 2 weeks, Mary battled the thought. But hunger is a strong voice. It speaks louder than reason. When her next menstrual cycle came, she sat on her plastic stool, sweating. She stared at the used pad, heart pounding. Her hand shook as she tore off a piece, boiled it in water, then ground pepper, onions, and oil into it. She cooked her first pot of stew with it and added beef from the little she could afford. That morning, only 3 customers came. But by evening, they had returned, with 5 others. One of them said, "I don't know what you added today, but this food sweet die. Give me another plate." The next day, more came. By the 3rd day, a long line formed outside her spot. She had never seen such madness. Mary began to smile more. She changed her clothes, bought earrings from the market, and painted her lips red. She started calling men darling and laughing loudly. People started noticing her. Within 6 months, Mary moved from a roadside table to a wooden shop with benches. Her food business became the talk of the town. People came from across the city to taste her stew, her jollof rice, her pepper soup. But the ritual continued. Every week, during her cycle, she cooked her special love stew, the one that made customers come back, again and again. She boiled the pad in secret, cut it into pieces, mashed it with red chili, and added it to her stew. She always prayed during the process, repeating the old woman's words, "From the blood of my womanhood, let them crave and return." Money began to flow. Mary changed her wardrobe. She rented a 2-bedroom apartment. She bought a small car. No one could believe it. Women envied her. Men adored her. She told people she was just lucky and hardworking. But there was one man who wasn't convinced. His name was Andrew Williams. He had just returned from Abuja, where he worked in a construction firm. His younger brother, Desmond, introduced him to Mary's restaurant. "Bro, this woman's food is not normal," Desmond said. "You'll understand after one plate." Andrew laughed. "How can food not be normal? Food not food." But when he tasted Mary's stew, something shifted in his body. It was as if the food touched his soul. It was sweet, spicy, and powerful. He cleared his plate in minutes and asked for more. He returned the next day. And the day after that. Before long, he found himself thinking of Mary at night. Her voice echoed in his dreams. Her food haunted him. He refused to eat from home. Even his mother noticed. "Andrew, what's wrong with you? You're losing weight," she said. Andrew couldn't explain it. He looked fine on the outside, but inside, he felt like a slave. His mind was cloudy. His chest felt heavy when he tried to pray. Sometimes, he woke up in the night shaking. One night, he had a terrible dream. He saw Mary standing in a dark kitchen, laughing. Behind her were shadowy figures stirring a pot filled with blood. He screamed and woke up sweating. That morning, he rushed to his church and told the pastor everything. The pastor, a wise man named Reverend Daniel, looked concerned. "Your spirit has been tampered with," he said. "This is deeper than food. We need to pray." After a 3-day fast, the pastor had a vision. He saw Mary boiling her used pads and mixing them into stew, while chanting over the pot. The spirits around her danced with joy. The pastor called Andrew. "She's using a blood ritual. You must stop eating there. And we need proof to expose her." Andrew was scared, but he agreed. He hid a tiny camera in his shirt and returned to Mary's restaurant, pretending he wanted to learn how to cook like her. Mary laughed. "You want to learn, eh? Come tomorrow morning. I'll show you the secrets." At 5 a.m., Andrew arrived. Mary led him to the back of her kitchen, a small, locked room where she kept her special things. She believed Andrew was just a curious admirer. That morning, she felt relaxed, even playful. Andrew watched as she brought out a black pot, poured water into it, and added something wrapped in tissue. She unwrapped it. It was a piece of her used pad. Andrew nearly fainted but held himself together. She boiled it, added pepper, oil, seasoning, and stirred the mixture. "This is what keeps them coming," she whispered. "It binds their desire to me. The taste is in the blood." She laughed. Andrew left with a heavy heart and proof. He took the footage to Reverend Daniel, who helped him upload it to Facebook and YouTube. Within hours, it went viral. The town exploded with rage, fear, and confusion. Customers began to vomit. Some fainted. People cried on the streets. They had eaten her food for years. Women screamed. Men cursed. By evening, an angry mob gathered outside Mary's shop. The police arrived just in time to stop them from burning the place. Mary was arrested while trying to run out of town. She wore a black hoodie and carried a bag of cash. In police custody, she cried. "I only wanted to escape poverty. I didn't mean to hurt anyone." But it was too late. Health officials raided her kitchen and found over 20 used pads stored in her freezer. Her apartment contained a notebook where she wrote dates, names, and recipes involving her ritual. At her trial, doctors confirmed that eating human waste could lead to serious infections and mental disorders. Victims came forward to share their pain, insomnia, spiritual attacks, strange cravings, and marital problems. The judge, shocked by the depth of her crimes, sentenced her to 20 years in prison for criminal poisoning, spiritual manipulation, and public endangerment. Mary stood in court, weeping. Her once beautiful skin looked pale. Her hair was rough. The crowd threw insults at her as she was dragged away in handcuffs. Andrew took time to heal. With prayer, fasting, and counseling, he regained his peace. He later became a public speaker, warning young people about the dangers of seeking success through dark means. Years later, Mary was forgotten by many. Her restaurant became an abandoned structure. Grass grew through the walls. But her story remained, a warning written in whispers. The taste that came with a price had left scars. Moral lesson. Not all that tastes sweet is pure. The hunger for wealth can lead people to dark places, but shortcuts to success often come with destruction. Be careful what you eat. And never trade your soul for temporary riches.